And tonight inside the Carrier Dome, the Red Dragons of Cortland State University 1-2 on the year against the undefeated and number 1 ranked Syracuse Orangemen. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Cohen along with Dale Drypulcher. You know, only 2 teams have ever defeated Syracuse here in the Carrier Dome, and Cortland State is one of them. Cornell the other. That was back in the era when Cortland State was a powerhouse in Division III year in, year out. And boy, Syracuse and Cortland State used to have some vicious games when they met either here or down there.
You know, Coach Simmons never lets the team forget that. Every year that they play Cortland, he says, don't forget, these guys beat us. I think it's 6 years ago now, and they use that same argument, and it is true. I think tonight Cortland's a little bit overmatched, Dave, but I think it should be a pretty good game. Interesting.
The strength of Cortland's team is on defense, but obviously you've got to score goals to win, and a man that will be looking to in that department is Paul Sissio, number 13.
Well, Paul Sissio is a senior out of Huntington, Long Island, and last year he was the second leading goal getter on the team. This year, they've only had 3 games. He's got about 6 points so far, but he's done a good job. He's a leader, he's a senior, and they look to him a lot, and he also plays good defense. So if they're going to do well, Sissio's got to play his good game, and I think everybody for Cortland has to play maybe a little bit above their good games to beat Syracuse.
Well, we said the strength of Cortland, though, is defensive. They did a good job against a high scorer for Princeton last week. Tedeschi and Klodzen are the names.
Yeah, they really have done a good job defensively. They played Roanoke so far. That's a pretty good Division III team. They beat Princeton, and that team is a pretty good team in the Ivy League. So I'd have to say that Cortland can play well defensively. They're going to have to do everything perfectly tonight and hope Syracuse maybe is a little bit overconfident, Dave, in order to knock them off tonight here in the Carrier Dome.
The story of Syracuse offensively has been the Gates, Paul and Gary Gate. Gary Gate averaging over 5 goals per game. But when the first midfield is not in, Syracuse can throw at you a second midfield and a third midfield. And prior to this game, we want to talk a little bit about the second midfield.
Yeah, they really don't get a lot of ink. Keith Owens, Peter Allen, and Ricky Kramer, these are the guys, their job is not to not score, but when they go in to give the first midfield a rest, they go in and they have to play very, very hard. They got a total of 6 points, but that's not important. Coach Simmons is very pleased with how well they're doing, how well they play, and that they give the guys a break, but they also play aggressively. And it really, if you've got guys that can run and play that well, both offensively and defensively, first, second, and third midfield, then you've obviously got an advantage. And I think that's one of the things that Syracuse is using a lot this year, a lot of depth.
Roy Simmons says he has 11 attackmen, and he's used just about every one of them. So expect to see a lot of names and a lot of faces in this game tonight as Syracuse beats Cortland State. We'll have the starting lineups and the opening face-off right after these words. Here's the starting lineups tonight for Cortland on the attack. Paul Sissio out of Huntington, Long Island, 2 goals and 3 assists. John Roth from Holbrook hasn't scored yet this year. And Fred Saracen out of Cortland, no goals and 1 assist. The Cortland midfield, Mark Stuver out of Fairport, leading goal scorer with 6 goals and 3 assists. Ed Welski, big man, 6'4", 210 from Fulton, 3 and 3. Mike Lewis out of Jordan Elbridge, 1 goal, 1 assist. On defense, Chris Tedeschi out of Fayetteville Manlius, Jeff Klodzen out of West Genesee High School, and Dave Walter from Homer. That's the defense for Cortland. And the goalie this year, number 1, Rich Barnes, a junior college All-America, transfer from Herkimer Community College. He saved 67% of the shots directed at him, 44 saves on the year. Rich Barnes will be looking at the Syracuse attack of Jim Egan from Yorktown, 2 goals, 4 assists. John Zilberti, West Genesee, 6 and 10. Greg Burns out of Janesville DeWitt, 3 goals and 1 assist. The midfield, and the high-scoring one it is, led by the Gate brothers. Paul Gate, 10 goals, 3 assists. Gary, 16 and 5 from Brentwood Bay, British Columbia. Brad Ruse out of Homer has not scored yet this year. On defense for Syracuse, it will be Mark Stouffer out of Janesville DeWitt, Jim McNamara out of West Genesee, and Pat McCabe from Elmont. So a lot of local products on defense for both teams, as is the goalie for Syracuse, and he is Matt Palem, the sophomore from Janesville DeWitt, allowing 9.5 goals, stopping 56% of the shots. We'll be back with the opening face right after this. Cortland State and Syracuse set to begin tonight's lacrosse game. And the 2 teams will now walk out to the midfield area, eyeball one another, and meet the officials in tonight's game. Syracuse on the year with 3 wins against Johns Hopkins at Hopkins, North Carolina, and Adelphi at home. Jerry Kashani, the head coach of Cortland State, he's a doctor. Most of the Cortland State coaches have to go on and pursue degrees in higher education. I guess that has caused a large turnover there, hasn't it, Dale?
Some people say that's one of the reasons why it's very difficult to get somebody to spend that much time getting the degree in coaching, but This man has a degree in sculpture, I believe. That's Coach Simmons, who is an artist and a good one.
Well, the teams break up there in center field and head toward their respective halves of the field. Richie Barnes will be the goalie for Cortland State.
Cortland, number 34,
Ed Welski will be in to take the faceoff for Syracuse against Bill Durgel. Dale, I guess you asked him point blank, how does he pronounce his name, and what did he say?
He said, well, he goes by Durgel, but his mom would really appreciate it if we said Durgel. So, Mrs. Durgel, this one's for you.
All right, we'll see how long we can stick with that. Bill Durgel on the face against Ed Welski, and Durgel digs it out. Playing lighter this year and looking quicker. And there he is, number 44, getting to it and throwing it back into his own end. And they redirect it to Matt Palin, the goalie. Up in the middle of the field, he goes to Gary Gate. Here is the leading scorer on Syracuse and possible candidate as the player of the year in Division I in college lacrosse. Faking right, going left, he shoots, and it kicks off the side of the cage, and he's there to play the rebound along with Greg Burns. Syracuse back into their offense, looking for their second shot. There's brother Paul Gate, number 19, sending back to Greg Burns. Burns has O'Berty there. He's easy to spot with those orange high-top sneakers. Burns overruns it, and it's into the stick of Richie Barnes, and he outlets it now. And here come the Red Dragons of Cortland State. Chris Tedeschi, number 38, the defenseman out of Fayetteville Manlius, and a good one.
Cortland not adverse to slowing this game down a tad, making sure that they get the clears and taking maybe Syracuse's running game a little bit away from him.
Mark Stuver with a pass upfield, and he hits Michael Luz. Luz will carry it in now. They go behind the cage for the first time. Number 5 is Fred Saracine, originally from East Meadow, now makes his home in Cortland. Man-to-man by the Syracuse defense. Teams at equal strength. Minute and a half into this game, we're scoreless. On the move now is Paul Sissio, number 13, guarded by Mark Stouffer. He tried to feed the cutter. That was Saracine in pursuit and going down, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Cortland, so Syracuse gets it.
Good teamwork there. Syracuse, McCabe, and Stouffer, they both dropped off when the ball was down. Got 2 men on the ground. Ball blocked out very, very well, and Syracuse, the ball was off Cortland, so Syracuse will now have a clearing attempt.
And the Red Dragons will contest it. At least they're showing the full field ride, but now they relax it momentarily as Syracuse tries to get out of their own end, and here they come, taking a run at Palin.
Yeah, they're going to go at Matt Palin. That's Saracine.
Pretty good strategy to make Syracuse work in their own end of the field.
Well, it takes, it runs time off the clock, and it also makes them work a little harder. And if you get the ball, you get a chance. But that's a moot point. Fast break, Syracuse.
And here is Paul Gate coming in on checks. Off shot. It's a pass, actually. Off the stick of Zolberti. It's gathered by Barnes. Barnes looks strong in the net so far. Rob Drola comes out. And here's the pass up, intended and taken by Klodzen. He goes down, loses the ball, and the Gates have it. Gary Gate with Zolberti on his right. There's the hard shot. A nice save by Barnes, and he swats it out of there. He looks very good in the net so far. Confident.
Barnes is an excellent goalie. He really is. He played at Herkimer last year. He's an All-American junior college goalie.
Good play by Klodzen as he gets it up ahead now to Stuver. Stuver wearing those dark blue high tops, and he has some legs under him as he moves by Ruse. Even with a goal, feeds a free shot and a score, and Cortland State is on top. Number 11 getting the goal. Scott Schwein, I believe.
All started because the goalie made a nice save and they got an outlet pass and this fast break. Cortland pass back. He did. He looked into the back to the slot, and
Cortland goal.
Schwinn
Number 11, Scott Schwinn.
got the goal. So Schwinn on a nice look from Stuver, and Cortland plays lacrosse and is here to play tonight. Scores first on Syracuse.
And a fine move upfield made by Stuver on that play to make it all possible. Cortland State in the lead now, 1-0. Keith Owens in the second midfield is on number 1 along with Peter Allen and Ricky Kramer. Syracuse has taken both face-offs, but Cortland State leading it 1-0. Bill Durgel, having taken that face-off, will now head to the sideline, and Earl Hall will come on. Durgel faking as he left the field. Owens now has Earl Hall breaking in. He hits Hall. Hall gets the shot away and a score. Just like that, Earl Hall off the bench into the slot, And he gets the goal.
You know exactly why that happened is Syracuse changed on the fly. Watch, 7, he gets a jump right there on Klodzen. Klodzen from Cortland wasn't there in time, and of course he beat him all the way in, and Earl Hall took a left-hand shot to tie it up, but that was just hustle coming out of the substitution area, and he got a jump on the Cortland people, and that's exactly what happened.
Kind of like the lonely end. Nobody picked him up as he came in off the bench.
Well, you know what happened? They faked a couple times whether who was coming out, and then Syracuse man made it across first, and he just sprinted. Hall just sprinted into the slot. Durgal's going to get perhaps his 3rd faceoff.
Yeah, he will. And Syracuse's Owens controls it now. The other thing about that shot by Earl Hall is that he was able to shoot in rhythm. Shot it left as he was going left, right in stride. He has the goal, and we're tied at 1-1. Now Syracuse has Brooke Chase on, number 2. Early substitution by the Orangemen. Using a lot of offensive people is Roy Simmons. Owens with Ricky Kramer. Outside the perimeter of the box. Here's Kramer, ground level look. Works against Welski, low shot, bouncing over the top of Richie Barnes. And Syracuse closest to it, they'll retain possession.
There's Kramer. A lot of people, freshmen getting playing time. Kramer, a freshman out of JD. And Coach Simmons said he's able to get a lot of playing time. He plays sometimes 11 attackmen, Dave, so he really is able to. He said he doesn't have much of a B roster. In other words, they don't get many JV-type games, so he lets him play in the varsity games when he can.
Burns, Egan, Allen, Owens, Kramer, and Chase. Now Kramer.
Cortland running a kind of a zone. Now they change off and stay man-to-man.
Owens off the pick. Good save by Barnes. He's a big-time goalie. Rebound is to Owens on the double team. They take it away from him. Klodzen gets shoved by Burns. He stepped out of bounds, I believe. And Syracuse is going to get it. Yes.
Great hustle by Burns, 14 from JD, of really getting on Klodzen and putting the pressure on, and Klodzen trying to get rid of the ball, stepped on the back line, and that did it. So credit Burns with a good hustle. There he is, number 14. He'll bring the ball in as they shift, change, and get another midfield in. And Zilberti will go back to help him out behind. 2 behind. We'll just trade it off, and Burns keeps it.
Greg Burns from Jamesville DeWitt, being played loosely by the Cortland defense. Greg Bishop on, sophomore. Bishop out of Lake Ronkonkoma on Long Island, Sachem High School. Now they rotated back to Burns, up top to Gary Gate. You cannot leave him alone for a split second. He'll uncork that shot. Here's Zilberti, chases in front. A couple of cutters on net. They tried to set up the pick for Gate. He had the stick knocked out of his hands. Zilberti unsuccessful in keeping it in bounds.
Looks like they're running a little bit. They wanted to run a little bit of a zone to kind of neutralize the Gates, not get beat out 20 yards from the goal and create an unsettled situation, Dave, where you're going to have to jump. And that man right there, Coach Keshiani, is trying to get the most from his troops and come up with a way of stopping the brothers' Gate.
In addition to being the head lacrosse coach, Kashani is also the head wrestling coach. At least he has been, and a linebacker coach with the football team.
Get a lot of mileage out of him. Ball up. Klodzen with it.
Klodzen, number 7, tries to feed midfield. He hits Stuver. Stuver can really fly. He feeds the crease all alone. One-on-one score by little John Roth. Smallest man on the field, and once again, Stuver made that all possible. 5'5", 140-pound junior out of Holbrook, Long Island, Sachem High School, John Roth.
Well, Roth makes they get beat. There's 2 guys on one. There's a nice look as Roth just beat his man, and as you said, the pass was right on the button from Stuver.
So Stuver has made both goals possible by the Red Dragons of Cortland State. They lead it 2-1.
Assist to number 30, Mark Stuver. The assist to Stuver. The goal to number 2.
Bill Durgill on the face. We got a little pushing and shoving, and we'll await the disposition. It is a push against Cortland State, so the technical gives the ball over to Syracuse.
Syracuse has not lost a face-off yet. And Kevin Donahue, one of the people working with the face-off people, tells Bill, good job. Syracuse gets the ball back. Does help control the tempo when you can control that face-off.
To this point, the Gates have been held in check by Cortland State. Not doing it with any kind of gimmick defense either. Paul Gate now to Gary. They want to try to make them shoot with the right hand if that's possible. Here's Zilberti back outside. to Ruse. Behind the cage, they go to Burns. The Gates into the near side. Up top to Ruse. Here's Paul Gate. He cranks, he fires. It's way wide. What a bullet.
That's just to let him know he's still there. And that sound that you heard was the ball smacking the back drop there, the pads. And he's letting that man know he's still around.
Over the head of Gary, but played by Paul, number 19. Let's see if Cortland State zones him here. No, they're still man-to-man. Syracuse rotating it clockwise at Zoberti. Zoberti working against Bishop. Now they feed it in close, and they deflected the shot at Gate. He gets the rebound. His second shot is no good, but it's into the stick of Burns. What will Greg do? He goes up top. Paul Gate shoots and scores. So Paul Gate ties the game up as he beats the goalie there, Richie Barnes.
You know, they did take, Paul took a shot right-handed before this in the flurry. He's out on top. Klodzen was on him, but he takes that point-blank left-handed shot, and just a real nice assist from Burns. Nice pass.
John McKinnon on now, number 16. He's matched up with Paul Gate on the wing on this face-off. Durgel looking to make it another successful face-off, and he has, and he heads back to get it. Behind his back, he redirects it. Stouffer in the middle of Paul Gate. Almost had a pick set from at midfield, but he's going to work his way into the box right now as he works against Bishop. Is this a clear out for Paul? He's knocked down, and Bishop takes it away momentarily at least. He has it back, and a shovel shot off the backhand by Paul Gate.
Well, you can see when they know where Paul or Gary Gate is, and if they hesitate, they're going to slide and try to double team him as soon as they get a chance. When he stops, it looks like he's going to shoot. They get two people in front of him at all times.
So far, we've seen a couple of deflections also as they try to hit that stick of Paul or Gary Gate as he winds up.
The idea is defensively to get your stick on stick. In other words, try to keep your stick on his shooting side. They know predominantly left-handed, and they're trying to get those sticks there and deflect the shot.
Burns back behind to Zoberti. Zoberti being watched by Klodzen. A 2-2 lacrosse game. Halfway through this first period, he beats Klodzen. He comes in, and Bishop Barnes is there for the save, and the ricochet is out of bounds. Syracuse will keep it.
Nice job by Barnes. He really followed up with that left elbow. Maybe we can see on the replay where he got it. There's the beat. Klodzen gets beat right there. It is. He just followed through with the stick perfectly. He saved it, not with the net part or the head part of the stick, but the metal part.
The shaft. Here's Burns. Up top he goes now to Ruse. Ruse has not scored a point yet this year. Dribble it off the pressure. He comes in. He shoots. Missed the goalie, but it hit a defenseman standing there. Now the ball's loose, and it goes to Paul Gate at point-blank range. And Barnes is wondering, what happened to my defense? Back-to-back goals by Paul Gate.
Well, they got a little confused there. There's the move. Shot. Now that's the pipe. Now he's out of position. Where's the ball? He's got to find the ball. Now he finds it, but it's almost too late for him to find it. You see how he went to the left side, and, you know, give Barnes credit. They were point blank, but after that rebound, Dave, it's very hard to get yourself set and get back in the goal again, and that's what happened.
And now Syracuse, for the first time in the game, leads by a 3-2 score. Paul Gate, who scored the first 3 goals against Adelphi the other day, has scored the last 2 for Syracuse.
Paul Gate, and Syracuse leads 3-2.
Keith Owens on now, Klodzen, and this is Bishop as they hack away at it.
Zoberti got mugged.
And there's somebody trying to shove somebody into the crease. And we'll get the spot and a legal procedure call because it is legal. Syracuse player was knocked into the crease, the circle around the cage. And on that turnover, the ball goes back to Cortland State.
Coach Simmons looking at a 2-goal lead with 7:01 left in the first period. Right now, Cortland attempt to clear.
Under 7 to go. Cortland State playing a fine lacrosse game against Syracuse here in the Dome. Very strategic game. Cortland State taking only 2 shots and hitting them both. That's really been the story this year against Matt Palin. He does not have a high save rate, percentage-wise, but the opposition has not taken all that many shots. The ones they've gotten have been excellent ones.
Fast break, point-blank shots.
Now Welski tried to get it down into the corner for Stuver, is intercepted by Syracuse, but they throw it away, and Klodzen's there for the bouncing ball. Up in the midfield area, he goes to Michael Luz. And they feed the crease for the shot and the score.
Like that.
Paul Sissio, the man we highlighted up at the top of the show, gets the goal. And Cortland State is knotted this game up again at 3-3 on the goal by Sissio.
Cortland's getting their attackmen down there in unsettled situations. The defensemen are kind of letting those guys go, losing track of them. And when the ball is finally picked up, they're looking downfield and getting the ball down there very quickly. And Matt Palin has been one-on-one 3 times.
Cortland State has taken 3 shots, and they've scored 3 times. Michael Luz gets the assist. That gives him 2 on the year, and Sissio has his 3rd goal. Cortland began the year losing to Cornell 11-5. Durgel on the face scores.
That gets you back in it quickly.
So Syracuse back on top just seconds after winning the faceoff. That is obviously an unassisted goal. Here's Durgel winning the face and then just legging it right into the box, switching to the right hand for the score.
Syracuse has won all faces except one. I think the one they lost was on a penalty, and he just dominating in the face-off department. That means 6-1 for Durgel, and the score 4-3. They set it up. You can see how important it is the face-off can become in a game in terms of, Cortland says, let's get back in the game, and they get a goal, and they try to maybe turn the momentum, and Durgel just takes the face-off, runs down, and gets a quick goal.
There he is, winning it again and setting it up for Owens, but Syracuse just can't rake it in.
Cortland face-off.
Now John Roth, who has a goal, gets it, and he feeds the crease quickly. If they count that as a shot, it's the first one Cortland's missed.
Get the ball to Stouffer.
Sissio took a run at him. Here comes Owens. Owens in midfield. He's got Rodney Dumpson up ahead. Now they feed it to Durgel, seeing time on the wing, into the crease. Syracuse man is closest to it, but they call that a pass.
Yeah, fans yelled shot, but it was a pass. Durgel was down, and they just didn't get where they wanted to. And that man, Barnes, the goalie, who has played so well, but has been actually peppered. They've taken 12 shots at him in a little over 9 minutes. So he's going to get a lot of action. Cortland attempts to clear now. Klodzen on the wing. He's going to force it way back on the long pass.
And he goes to Stuver, the man who has been instrumental in a couple of Cortland State goals. He's being pursued by Zilberti. What a move as he went by Chase and Zilberti. Dumps it off in the midfield to Luz and gets it back. He is a player. Stuver back to Luz. Luz feeds the crease. That's a pass, and so Syracuse will get it back.
Once again, they were looking for Roth or one of the men open on the crease because Syracuse, as I said, guarding a little bit loosely, and these guys are trying to get open and get the ball down there quickly.
It's almost like a basketball team playing between the circles and then trying to throw the backdoor pass or the alley-oop.
Yep, absolutely right. And, it's if it works, go for it. Stouffer on the sideline, back to the middle on the wing. Gate.
Here comes Gary Gate now. The defense retreats, which could be a mistake. They leave on the avenue open. He fakes, comes in, scores. That was just poor defensive work there. The defense just collapsed. And then Gate with a fake got the easy goal.
Yeah, the rule there is you can only collapse so far. And if you back up any farther, and of course Gate switched hands, I believe took a right-hand shot, and they're used to the Gate brothers going left. A lot of people have said that you've got to be able to go both hands in lacrosse. You've got to be an equal shooter. And I would say in many instances that's right, but I guess there's a couple instances where it isn't. Gary and Paul Gate.
Gary Gate, unassisted. And Syracuse now leads.
Now for the first time in the game, one team has a 2-goal margin. It's Syracuse leading 5-3. Gary Gate with the goal, so the Gate brothers have accounted for 3 of the first 5. Nothing new. Here comes Gary once again, and they retreat one more time.
The goalie normally will yell hold and tell him don't retreat any farther. And I think he said that right then, and they got up on him. That was John McKinnon. Yeah.
McKinnon still playing him rather loosely.
Well, McKinnon doesn't want to get burned now because see if they're running a zone. Let's see.
Again, Syracuse moving the ball in clockwise fashion.
Nope, running man to man.
Gary Gate starts. He has a pick set by Paul. Will it be pick and roll? Off the screen, a bounce shot, and Barnes played it. Burns for the rebound. Burns feeds. Paul Gate's shot is saved again by Barnes. He outlets it, intended for Bishop, who can't handle it and goes out of bounds. The Orange will get it back. Barnes a little bit disappointed.
Barnes with 15 shots at him so far has, I think, done a good job, and he really got the ball up and he looks for the outlet. As we said, he's a Herkimer Community College graduate. Spent 2 years there, was an All-American, recruited by Cortland, and are glad they've got him.
Cortland State has a number of players who've transferred, some down from Division I, others from Division III schools. Syracuse with the ball in the lead. This is Brad Ruse. Ruse giving it up to Paul Gate. Gary Gate to Paul Gate. Burns in pursuit. Uncontested, he has trouble picking it up.
You can hear him talking there. You've got the ball, and took his time and picked it up.
Egan to Zoberti to Gary Gate up top. He faked left, he goes right, has it popped away, but Paul picks it up. Saved Barnes in the crease. The defenseman there to help out and knocked to the far sideline and out of bounds. The Orange keep it again.
I think Egan actually might have gotten a shot off there, and he's telling his crease defenseman, clear that area out. Don't let anybody camp down there. I don't want to get in any trouble with somebody on top of me. Let's see if we can see Egan 9. He just passed the ball. Now there's Egan, replaces somebody. He's on the crease. Let's see if Egan, yeah, Egan got the rebound that was saved. Nice job by 21, Dave Walter for Cortland.
Did you see that pass from Gary Gate to Paul? I don't know if that was intentional or just accidental. It looked like it popped out of his stick.
Could have been telepathy.
Zoberti, who can stop on a dime and then go. Giving it up, intended for Gary Gate.
He was waiting for the jump from Klodzen.
Look at that stick work as he scooped it up on the sideline and headed back in. Syracuse hasn't changed their midfield here in quite a few minutes. Zoberti makes the move, he comes in, and a good play defensively and in the goal. Barnes came way out, and Tedeschi now has it. Sends it back across for Klodzen. Klodzen out of West Tennessee, Tedeschi from Fayetteville Manlius. No doubt they've got some friends and relatives watching them here in the Dome. Stuver is on the sideline calling for it, but he doesn't get it. There's Jerry Kashani in the bottom of the picture. Now they go to Klodzen. Stuver sneaking up the sideline. Down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play in this first quarter. 5-3 game. Cortland State's got to like their performance in the opening 15.
Syracuse just had it zoned off there. 2 men at the midfield. Now they've dropped another man back. They've got 4 way back, and Cortland's going to run it up, and he's slash. Hold.
Stuver is fouled as he comes up.
That's the first penalty, I believe, for time served. So that will be a 30-second penalty. Syracuse having an excellent year with their man-down defense, Dave, and previous to the last game, they had not given up a goal. They gave up a couple in the last game. Did you see the hold they called? So Syracuse will be down for 30.
Fred Saracen comes on now in the man-up situation for Cortland State.
30 seconds holding.
Saracen a senior now. And let's see what Cortland State can do in the final 2 minutes here of the first quarter with a man up. They spread it out. Stuver feeding near side to Luz. Back behind, they go to Saracen. Now Roth. Cutter inside. Here Stuver steps in. They isolate one-on-one, score! And it was Saracen who came in the game, and he gets the goal. Fred Saracen gets the goal. That'll be his first of the year, and it is now a 5-4 game.
They moved the ball around well. Watch Saracen. Now here's the slide. You got to slide over, but they couldn't get there in time. Stouffer slid, didn't get there in time to get stick on stick with Saracen, and he really put the ball down low and got by Matt Palin, and he is not pleased with himself. And you can tell right there he feels he should have had that one. You know, those are the ones, they're difficult to make, Dave, when you're man down, but those are the ones that really pick up the defense if you make the big save. I don't think Matt felt that he got a good jump on it, but the faceoff back to Syracuse.
Orangemen win this faceoff again. Owens feeds, dumps in. He was hit as he shot. That is a shot, or is it? No, they say no shot, and they're going to give the ball over to Cortland State. Rodney Dumpson seeing early action. Rodney is a sophomore out of Port Washington, so undoubtedly he knows several of these Cortland State Long Island players.
It was kind of like old home week, actually. I was down on the field before the game, and a lot of players were talking. That's the thing about lacrosse. It's kind of that sport where a lot of camaraderie, whether you're on the same team or different teams sometimes.
Now in the final minute of the first quarter in a 5-4 game. Syracuse leading by 1. Welski makes the move on Rob Person. Pair of 34s. There's the dump off to Stuver. He goes by. Schluter has it poke checked away, and Saracen gathers it in. Schluter, number 4 in pursuit for Syracuse in white. Up top to Welski. 50 seconds to go. Stuver now will run some clock. Sissio has a goal, moving against Stouffer. That's the time remaining in the first quarter. Reversing his field and scoring and tying the game up is Sissio. Matt Palem looking back toward the bench as Sissio has tied this game up.
Sissio just went down and came back and turned inside on Stouffer. And a nice move by Sissio. Out, back, turned, and then fired and picks up his second goal.
On an unassisted
The third and the
goal
fifth
by
going to
number 13,
Sissio.
Paul Sissio.
35 seconds
Unassisted
left.
goal by 13, Paul
And it is
Sissio.
all tied up.
with
And you know why
35
Coach
seconds remaining in the first period,
always talks
the
about
score is tied at
Cortland
5.
beating Syracuse in 1982.
Cortland State coming back from a 2-goal deficit to tie this game up at 5-5. Once again, Durgel working hard on the faceoff, and Owens trying to gather it in, but Cortland State is going to come away with it. The Red Dragons can close out this first quarter with a lead. Joe Buffalini picked up that ground ball, number 25, and he still has it. Buffalini now to Saracen. Roth, number 2, will he set a pick? No, he won't. 10 seconds to go. Will they get a shot off? Roth cuts in. Here's Stuver, cranks and scores! And Cortland State leads it now 6-5. Matt Palem out of the cage again, shaking his head.
He just comes down. Watch, Stuver had come in from the bench, and nobody could pick him up. There was nobody on him. Now, granted, it was a long shot, but he had a whole lot of time to set up and crank, Dave, and that was a blistering shot. Went high on Palem, and it makes it 6-5, and Cortland has 6 shots and 6 goals.
Wow. What do you suppose Matt Palem was saying as he walked out of the cage after each of those goals?
Well, he's got to find his rhythm. He doesn't feel like he has it yet. Some of them have been point-blank shots, but he's got to feel that I can do better than that, and I've got to put something together for this 3 quarters we got left, or this team is going to get up on us. If you get a hot goalie, you can get in trouble, and there's a hot goalie right there.
Cortland State is pumped. They lead it 6-5 after 1. We'll be right back. Yes, that is the score. Cortland 6, Syracuse 5 after 1 quarter. The Red Dragons scoring the last 3 goals of the first quarter to take the lead. Matt Palem switching to the goal now to our right. And talking to one of his freshman defensemen.
That's McCabe.
I think they're telling Matt not to get down and get dejected, because he definitely was in the latter stages of the first quarter.
Well, as we said, he played 3 games last year and started. He is still a bit inexperienced, and I think he has been looking more comfortable in the goal in every game. This one, he has had some point-blank shots taken at him, but if you can control the faceoffs like Durgel's doing, it's important to get back in the game, give him some confidence.
Durgel feeding Gary Gate, and now back behind the cage. Syracuse has it. Egan sending up to Paul Gate. Brad Ruse has just come on, number 3, trotting into your picture now. Gate, this may be a one-on-one clear out. Paul set the pick. Here comes Gary. They knock it out of his stick again. Good work there defensively by Cortland State. With Scott Schwind who knocked the ball out. And turnabout is fair play as Gary Gate takes it away. He feeds Oberti. He saw the man at the side of the cage, took his eye off the ball, didn't handle it. Now the bodies are being knocked around liberally as Burns comes up with it. Burns to Egan. Egan looks to go low. Egan dumps it back to Burns on a nice feed. Crossfield he goes Zilberti. Zilberti in the slot. Wow, what a shot by Gary Gate. Foot race to the sideline. Look at that effort on the dive by Richie Barnes against Egan.
Good hustle by Barnes. And you can see both teams saying, let's pick the pace up a little bit here as you look at the stats. Shot 17 for Syracuse. Cortland 6. That's 6 goals and 6 shots. And that really kind of tells the story right there. Syracuse has gotten a greater number of shots, but Cortland's got a hot goalie, and they're going to test him again.
Oh, there's a beautiful look at the save by Barnes as they shot it from up top.
That's
Brad Ruse, number 3.
Yep, over on a wing, and they're going to try to work the ball around using the midfield.
Cortland leading it 6-5. Syracuse working counterclockwise this time. Alzo Berti, even with a cage. Up he goes to Paul. Gary Gate, man-to-man by Cortland. He comes left again, cranks and scores. If he saw that, he's got better eyes than I think.
I don't think so. And you know what that was? He just came off a pick, and they got the ball, and all he needed was that fraction. It's amazing about those guys, Dave, is they only need a fraction of an inch to set and take the shot. They actually don't even set, and that was Gary Gates' second goal.
And that was the play they tried just moments ago when Cortland State knocked the ball out of Gary Gates' stick.
You know, it wasn't really very impressive. All he needed was that little move and just that screen on the goalie, and boy, he ripped it by him. So it's 6 apiece now.
Are you telling me you weren't impressed?
Well, no.
Goal by number 22.
I was very impressed. They make it look easy. That's the thing. But let's give Cortland a lot of credit for hustle. Let's see if Durgal's going to get called for something. Yeah.
I'll bet Richie Barnes, the goalie, was impressed.
Yep. And it wasn't Durgal, it was Cortland. So Durgal gets another face-off by virtue of delay of game, somebody not setting correctly.
They'll put it in the stick of Keith Owens as we resume with 1:45 gone in the second quarter in a 6-6 tie. Gary Gate has 2, Paul Gate has 2. Earl Hall and Bill Durgal have the other Syracuse goals. Cortland State has had scoring from Schwinn, Roth, Sissio, Saracen, Sissio again, and Stuver. Teams at equal strength. Bouncer by Owens, and Barnes played that one nicely.
You notice when you watch Barnes, he brings that stick down. He's got beautiful follow through, and then he goes right after the ball. And he wasn't there in time to get it, but Owens was. But he's a hustler in the goal. He's really playing a good game for the Dragons.
Owens to Earl Hall. Earl dealing it off to Zoberti. Likes that change of direction move, guarded by Bishop. Come around the cage to this side. Peter Allen into Owens. That was a pretty play. Like an isolation with Owens in the crease.
You know, coming into this game, we talked about the second midfield. They've got a total of 6 points, and those are the guys that are in there, but they're certainly going to take their shots, and it was a beautiful look to feed on the crease.
Oh, did you see the way he got there?
Yep.
Came off the screen, working without the ball.
Pick and roll and got free. We're back to live action now, but nice job on the replay, guys. Shows you what's going on down there.
That is really the beauty of this game of lacrosse. The ball movement, moving without the ball, the motion. A game that has so many of the elements of basketball.
I think Syracuse is going to put a little more pressure on this clear of Cortland. Make them earn a little more and see if they can't get them to put the ball on the ground.
Syracuse really has not had too many transition goals. There's a nice feed inside. And a save by Palem comes loose, and the defenseman McCabe has it. He's being triple teamed. They deflect it, but Syracuse there for the moment to keep possession. Holbrook lost it to Roth. Now Saracen. Quickly now, Cortland State goes back to offense. 6-6 game. New players in the game now. J.J. Graham out of Liverpool High School.
That's a Ward.
J.J. commits the violation. He began his college career at RIT, and then he transferred over to Cortland State. J.J. Graham.
Syracuse will have to clear the ball.
That last save made by Palem was his first. And quickly now. Syracuse takes it down. Ricky Kramer gives it up. Rodney Dumpson. A defensive lapse there, but Syracuse couldn't cash in. Again, they fed the crease. And Barnes has it, pursued by Neil Alt. The senior co-captain shoved him out of bounds.
Alt not getting a lot of playing time up until this point. It really put the hustle, and he made Barnes think, and he had to hold the ball, and Barnes put that foot on the line, and that good hustle by Neil Alt gives Syracuse a nice offensive opportunity.
Senior savvy there, if anything. Here's Kramer. Dumpson cuts through, number 6, picked up by Klodzen. Outside they go now to Alt. Alt will start his move. Didn't get a pick. He has to give it up into the corner on a bounce. Good defensive play by Cortland State. Here's the move again. And a score! Tough angle on the score by Jim Egan, but nevertheless he beats Richie Barnes, and Syracuse goes back in the lead. Now it's 7-6.
You mentioned tough angle. Let's see just how tough it was. I thought it was almost an impossible angle. They worked the ball behind. Now Egan just comes all by himself, turns and fires, and he was very tough on that, guarded by Tedeschi. So Egan put Syracuse ahead 7-6. 10:43 left.
And Syracuse leads 7-6.
So in the seesaw battle, Syracuse continues to dominate the faceoffs, but not the scoreboard.
Durgel and Buffalini on this face.
Dumpson at the bottom of the screen looking on. And here they come. It rolls right to Dumpson, who scoops it up on the move. Pursued by J.J. Graham. Rodney Dumpson, beautiful change of direction. Now he gives it up. Behind the cage he goes. Back there for Syracuse, Mark Hoteling. Still another new name face in the game, as we told you about beforehand. There'd be a lot of those. Here is Alt, or is it Egan?
Egan.
It's Egan, number 9. Knocked away from him.
Nice defense by Walter, 21.
And Barnes is interfered with as he tried to outlet the ball.
Just going to say 21. Walter also playing well defensively for Cortland. They got the ball into their goalie, and Barnes was interfered with. And there's a telling stat, 24-7. But only telling, and it's the fact that it's only a 1-goal lead.
If you saw that stat and didn't know what the score was.
Well, that tells you one thing is that you got a good goalie in there, and Barnes is doing a good job. And actually, Cortland is playing well defensively, Dave. They're not all great shots, so give Cortland a lot of credit. Syracuse is making them work.
I hope I have.
Yes.
This is Welski now. They're not slowing down this game. They're just taking the high percentage shots. And they've done a fairly reasonable job against the big guns for Syracuse. Sissio against Stouffer. Outside he goes. Now here's Stuver. Stuver makes the move, looks for the right-handed shot. They take away his angle. Schluter in pursuit. No cutters free in front. So Stuver holds on and goes back outside. Roth, who has a goal with Luz. And now he gives it to Luz. Mike Luz, number 24, senior out of Jordan Elbridge High School.
Patain in on him. Takes the ball away for a minute.
They really spread out the offense, and Patain takes it away. With a nice spin move. He has it knocked out of his stick, but he gets it to Phil Schluter. Schluter, number 4, changing, looks for the shot. And the rebound ricochets to Syracuse. Here's Zoberti in close. And there is the goal by Mark Hoteling. Zoberti doing his job as a feeder. He could have taken that shot himself. Instead, he gave it off to Hoteling.
You know, sometimes you can wait too much. Ball was down. Schluter had the fast break. They got the ball over to Egan, then over to Zoberti, and finally, of course, to number 13, Syracuse. Hoteling puts it in.
And we've got a timeout with 8:55 to go, and Syracuse in the lead, 8-6. We'll be right back. Syracuse back on top now by an 8-6 score after Cortland State led 6-5 after the first quarter. So the Orange have scored the last 3 goals now in this seesaw battle.
One thing we mentioned at the top, what Cortland really had to do to win, I said they had to play very, very well, maybe a little bit better than normal, than they really can play, and I think they've done that. They've done a lot of hustle. They have not been intimidated by Syracuse. I've seen in years past, Dave, they were a little bit intimidated, but not tonight.
Durgel will roll the faceoff back to Gary Gate, and quickly they get a shot away, and Paul Gate, in disgust at missing the shot, you didn't see it there, but he just tossed his stick way up in the air.
You don't want to do that because that's a penalty. You can't throw your stick, and referee there, Steve Miller, will let him know that don't let that happen again. And incidentally, Richie Barnes was a little upset because he thought he beat the man to the end line there when the ball went out, but to no avail. Syracuse will retain possession. And time of possession, Dave, we don't keep it for Lacrosse, but they've had it for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Orange have it now. They nearly give it up. Here's a shot. What a save. That was about as hard a shot as you could ever expect to save, and Richie Barnes did it. Boy, he's got to have some courage.
Courage, that's right. Just like in The Wizard of Oz, when somebody's out there taking a 6 or 7 ounce shot, rubber ball, shot at about 80 miles an hour. Ooh.
That's the time remaining in the first half as Syracuse works it around. Big difference in this game has been Richie Barnes in the cage. Syracuse tries to hit Paul Gate by him and out of bounds. And boy, the Orange men have that look of what is happening in this game.
Yeah, well, that'll do it when you bring in a Division III team, but you get a hot goalie and some kids who believe that they can win the game, and that can make a lot of difference on the old cliche any given night, but that's, I think, a good example.
Well, you say Division III team, but let's make the point that Division I to Division III in lacrosse is not anywhere as drastic as it is in other sports.
I want to check myself on the way to the ball. It's between 5 and 5 1/4 ounces.
Welski is going to be quadruple team, but he gives the ball up to Klodzen, and they go cross field to Stuver. Stuver beating Schluter into the box. Stuver gives it up to Roth. He scores, beating Matt Palum. And once again, Syracuse with double, triple, quadruple teams near midfield, and Cortland State comes down and beats them.
Well, they get a way to find the open man, and as they bring it down, they're looking, there's Roth, and they slide over, but they just don't seem to be sliding either fast enough or quick enough, and they're getting one-on-one shots with Matt Palum, and he's not having his best night so far, and you got to give him some help defensively, I guess.
Gets their 7th goal.
And it is an 8-7 game.
With an assist and a reprieve, Mark Stuber.
Certainly able to get the ball down there fast. I don't know, Syracuse maybe not getting back quickly enough on defense, but they are making it count.
Back it goes on the face to Paul Gate. Another face-off won technically by Syracuse. But it is an 8-7 game on the scoreboard. Here's a move coming. And Gary Gate knocked down. Rebound to Paul Bishop. Portland State playing with skill and enthusiasm now. Saracine down to Sissio. We got an injured player far side.
It may be Bishop.
Injured player far side. It is number 36,
Greg
Bishop. It's his right ankle. In considerable pain.
Syracuse, I think, as a team, has pretty good team speed. Cortland has been showing their ability to get down there and pretty good hustle themselves. Next game coming up, TV game, Army against Syracuse. That is always a good game. Sunday, March 27th, 8 o'clock. They are always a tough team, and boy, they really are well coached, and they know exactly what they want to do. And they might not have the number of athletes other people do, but as you know, Dave, the service academies really put out a good team in any field.
Usually a physical game too, Dale.
Yep.
John Desko talking with Gary Gate. And while we have the opportunity, we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a line, postcard, or letter. Get it in quick before they raise the postage. Super Sports, Cook Cablevision, 500 South Salina Street, Syracuse, New York, 13202. I'd like to hear your comments about this game and perhaps other events you've seen or would like to see from Super Sports. Well, it looks like Bishop may be back in this game before very long. He was in great pain, but at least it was the ankle and not the knee.
We have Cortland 8 shots, Dave.
7 goals. 1 save by Matt Palin. Here's Saracen, who has a goal in a man-up situation earlier, near the end of the first quarter. There's Welski making the move outside. He's the biggest player at 6'4", 210 pounds, guarded by Persing. Uses that arm to ward off.
Save.
That was a save by Palin. He lost track of it, now he finds it. Palin comes out.
They are not going to give him any...
They take it from him, nobody in the cage. Now the defenseman McCabe goes in there. Empty net, and Stuver couldn't backhand it in. Syracuse out-hustles Cortland State. They'll get the ball. Stuver tried to backhand it in.
Well, you know their philosophy is if Matt Palin gets the ball, let's put pressure on him, because there were 3 guys on him, Dave, when he got that ball. He started out, looked back, looked for his help, and they picked him, right? See, look right there. He's looking for help. There's 3 guys. Somebody jumped from the bluffs, came down on him. There's the shot that missed.
You know, Dale, I remember football coaches saying when you throw the forward pass, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad.
Yep.
Why does the goalie ever come out with the ball?
Well, he's only got 4 seconds, first of all, in the crease after he makes a save when he's got possession of the ball. That's number 1. Secondly, you want to start the transition game. You're trained to let's get the ball back up the field, so you're always looking to get it out. Clearing has not been a problem, actually, for either team.
Peter Allen on number 15 now with Earl Hall, number 7. Syracuse works it. Zilberti. Up top he goes to Hall. Had a goal area earlier. Now Allen. They play him loosely. Here's the move by Allen. Taken down. And that'll draw the flag. And Burns hits the pipe. Greg Burns got the pipe on the delayed penalty. And now Syracuse will have the man advantage. Had he scored, that would have wiped it out.
This is Syracuse's first man-up opportunity. You can watch. There's the push right there. And he went down, looked for the man. There's the pipe. The goal would have counted. Had he gotten it, would have wiped out the penalty. But it hit a pipe, and Burns doesn't come up with one. But there will be a man-up opportunity. Syracuse's first
Penalty is
of the evening.
Cortland. 30 seconds pushing. Penalty called on.
Zilberti will take it behind. Let's see how many are working around.
8-7 Syracuse leads. Burns to Egan. Now Zilberti. Knocked away, but he regains. Somebody's lost the top of their stick. They've lost the basket. And Syracuse's Allen is blocked by Barnes. What a save. He's been the difference. Here's Zilberti. It's wide. And a flag goes down. Zilberti was taken down after the shot by a couple of Cortland State players. Jenkins is one of them.
We'll see what they're going to get that stick out of there, too.
Barnes comes out as if to say, to apologize for the action of one of his teammates.
Let's see what happens. There's a shot, and the ball back out again, down.
Syracuse
kept it in, and we won't get a chance to finish that, but we will say Syracuse is going to take a timeout and talk a little bit about it.
They lead it 8-7 with 5:12 to go in the second quarter. Well, back with 5:12 remaining in the second quarter. Just before we left, we saw an interesting play. A Cortland State player lost the basket portion of his lacrosse stick. What's the ruling on that?
Well, you can't play without the proper equipment, without a stick. And with the head off the stick, even if you're in the game, it's a procedure penalty. You're playing without your equipment, and it's 30 seconds.
Syracuse is man up. They feed, they shoot, they don't get the goal. And here comes Cortland State. The Gates check it away, and Syracuse gets it back. They get the ball to Egan. Egan in the middle now to Peter Allen. He looks left, he throws left, they come back right, and again, Cortland State breaks it up with a properly timed stick check.
You see how when Barnes came out on the save before that, how much he comes out and follows the body up with the stick so that he doesn't let the ball get behind him, and he really did a nice job, but the ball really goes out far on a rebound. There's Zilberti, he's behind. You get an end zone shot. Syracuse bring it in.
Barnes in his first year at this level playing a whale of a game. Junior college All-America a year ago. Syracuse moves it quickly. Paul Gate mishandles it. Klodzen pursuing him. Klodzen knocks it away. Gary Gates over to play it now. Let's see if the Gates take charge here by themselves. Zilberti out to Egan. He fakes. He's dumped. He gets up. And now we'll get a penalty called. Should be on McKinnon, I believe.
If it's a minute or 30 seconds. It'll be a minute for a slash.
Make it on Jenkins, the penalty, number 10.
Cortland penalty, 1 minute slashing.
Ball into Zilberti. Zilberti to Egan. And there it is right there. He hit him on top of the head. Jenkins. You know, one thing I've noticed, Syracuse has not had the fast break, the unsettled situations, Dave. It's more of a settled offense for them today. And not that they can't play it. I think their stock in trade is running and shooting.
Very definitely, Dale. As I said earlier, they have not had a genuine fast break yet. Durgel, winning a faceoff, took one right in for a score, but that was about it. Up top to Burns. He switches left, and it's saved by Barnes.
Well, you can't go high on Barnes.
Boy, he outlets it now to Klodzen. Klodzen behind the back feet into the middle. Nicely done to Schwinn. Schwinn gives it up to Saracen. Now to Sissio coming on. Sissio.
Good foot speed. He waits till he gets people, and they got a jump coming out of the box.
They get it to Welski, the big man. He loses the handle coming in. He goes down. Gives it up to Stuver. Stuver trying to regain control. And he loses it.
Gate.
Paul Gate takes it away. Gate coming in. They give him room, and Barnes with another save. Rebounding and ricocheting out of bounds. Syracuse will keep it.
I don't know if he hit the pipe or not, but Barnes really saw that one coming right down the pipe. And I think the ball might have hit the pipe. There's the coach from Cortland, Coach Keshani. He's got to be pleased. Down by only a goal. 3:17 left in the half.
Zilberti along the baseline. And David Walter. They work it to Neil Alt in the game. Now Ricky Kramer. Zilberti dumps it. Alt, Kramer. Now they come back the other way. 8-7 is the Syracuse lead. They haven't scored in quite a while. Zilberti being checked by Walter.
Gonna get doubled.
Reversing. Giving it up in close. There's a great move by Jim Egan.
Also a great move by Zilberti. What a nice feed that was, because Zilberti, he's looking for Egan. Watch him. There's Zilberti. He's going to take it out. Now they replace. There's the cutters. Now Zilberti looking. He's getting hacked by Walter. Turns back inside. There's my man. He sees him. Good job.
See the way he snuck up into that position as the defense drifted off?
Yep.
Nobody came to play him.
That's right. He and Klodzen got a couple of words friendly. As I said, a lot of these guys know each other, but Zilberti, just a super job there. Check the face-off. Syracuse up to 14. Let's see what they get on this one. Yeah, it'll be Syracuse on by virtue of a penalty. 15 face-offs for Syracuse and only 3 for C-State.
Syracuse right now on a pace to equal their season high in goals with 20, but boy, it doesn't seem like they're scoring a lot of goals.
It really doesn't, and I think it's taking a little bit longer. They're not of the spectacular variety in terms of the fast break, the people on their feet watching them get down there, and so it's a little bit different game they're playing tonight, and let's give Cortland credit for doing that. They've got 33 shots.
Alt to Kramer. Good fake and move by Kramer. He comes in, switches to the offhand, and he scores. So back-to-back goals, and again, for the second time in the game, Syracuse has a 3-goal lead at 10-7. Richie Barnes down and dejected, but without him, it'd be 20-7 now.
Took a little something off this one, I think. Let's see what Kramer does. Watch. Yeah, not an especially hard shot, skittered low, and I think Cortland's going to take a little timeout.
Second time that Jerry Kashani has gone to a timeout when his team has fallen behind by 3. First time it worked beautifully. We'll be right back. Jerry Kashani earlier took a timeout when his team was down by 3 goals, and they rallied to score 3 in a row and take the lead, 6-5 at the end of 1. Now they're down 10-7 nearing the end of the second quarter.
That was definitely a cool them down timeout, a cool Syracuse down timeout. Let's not let them get up on us here and commence to get some momentum.
Owens sprinting in toward the faceoff area as Durgel takes another one, and he legs it back into his own end. Nearly overshot Palem. Saracen took a run at Palem.
Oh.
Durgel gets it, On the feed from McCabe, Durgel gives it up into the middle to Keith Owens. Stutter step, ducks away, delayed call, flags are flying all over the place. And the feed in close, and with a change of possession now we'll get the man up coming for the Orangemen.
They played the Anvil chorus on his helmet there. Yeah, that's a slash. Good call, Jake. Yeah, you watch what happens to Owens on the head. Womp, womp. I like it. If you're going to hit him, you might as well do it and do it in front of everybody.
What does that feel like, Dale?
It just, it's just kind of a dull sensation. These are not football helmets, though, so you feel it a lot more. It's kind of like wearing one of those old-fashioned football helmets when you get hit. They're not made for a lot of real concussion.
They are plastic nowadays.
Yeah.
They're fiberglass. They used to be leather. Quick stick in close, score. Gary Gate faked high, came down low, and the Orangemen now, for the first time in the game, have a 4-goal lead. And Gary Gate has his 3rd goal. He's averaging better than 5 a game.
That was man up. Zilberti makes a nice long pass, and there's Gate right there with his Coleman lantern and stove on the crease, camped right there. And they hit him with a nice pass, but it was an easy shot past Richie Barnes, who really has played well. So now Syracuse gets some breathing room, 11-7.
And for Cortland State's sake, you just hope they don't become demoralized because they've played so well. Here's Durgel winning the face, feeding Zilberti, and Barnes took away the angle. Did something right on that. The Orange get it back quickly, though. They are a potent team. Dumpson shot, weak one. Syracuse back to play it.
Another penalty here. Klodzen's going to pick up one for bouncing a stick off of Syracuse helmet. That's Dumpson. So Syracuse will be man up again.
Minute 21 to go in this half.
Oh, check that. They're going to give him a technical on that.
30-second technical penalty on Cortland for holding.
Smart is in the game now. Stephen Smart, a junior out of Jordan Elbridge. Cortland State on their roster, players from Auburn, Cortland, Liverpool, West Genesee, Jordan Elbridge, Fayetteville Manlius, Clinton.
Of course, being a state school, they don't get many of the out-of-state players, Dave, that Syracuse will end up with, although Syracuse obviously has a lot of people from the area.
Here's Zilberti inside. Rebound as Zilberti was knocked into the crease. Violation.
There's a little blood on the knee of John Zilberti as he really pays the price, and he has really he's really done everything that so far this season they've asked him to do. He's scored, he has passed, he's got a couple of nice assists tonight. He really is a great player, and he plays defense too. He's only a junior. They got another year of John Zilberti.
Early on, we saw Zilberti in earlier games playing almost exclusively behind the cage, and now he's out front, really moving. Good check by Syracuse. The ball comes loose.
Egan
and the Orange are going to get it back. Egan playing a strong game. Gives Syracuse the ball back with 58 seconds, and they're going to send on the Gates.
Egan out of Yorktown. We know a lot about them. They have sent a number of players to Syracuse.
The Cornhuskers.
Yep.
Tim and Tom Nelson, among others.
Yep. Yellow and green, the colors. Yorktown, Westchester County.
Burns to Egan. Taking a lot of shots is Jim Egan.
I laugh because I hear Barnes every time that he's been back there and they've given the ball back to Syracuse from the shot. He's been saying, "Come on, give me a break." He really hustles.
That is the time remaining in the second quarter. The second quarter flew by until it hit about the 2-minute mark. And then a succession of timeouts and violations, and we've got yet another timeout now as Syracuse took it, I believe. They want to see if they can cash in here with the, are they man up now?
Yeah.
That's right. 11-7 and 49 seconds remaining. Quick rundown on the scoring. Paul Gate got the first 2 for Syracuse. Gary Gate has had 3 in this first half. And it's been quite a while now since Cortland has scored. Egan also has a pair of goals, taking more shots in this game. As Roy Simmons addresses his squad, it'll give us time to bring you up to date on the lacrosse rankings. Syracuse and Maryland, who do not play during this regular season. And Virginia, ranked 3rd. Syracuse doesn't play Virginia either. They play just about everybody else. They've played North Carolina. They will play Brown. They've beaten Johns Hopkins. Harvard and Penn out of the Ivy League are 7 and 8.
You know, Maryland is, for the last couple of years, they were known as the tremendous quality program, and they have really come alive, and they are now the team that people are saying they're really challenged. They made a commitment to the program. They let it fall off for a while because, you know, the state of Maryland produces a lot of excellent lacrosse players, and Maryland was losing them to Hopkins and Navy and really not into it the last couple of years. They made a commitment from what we understand, and they're a force to be reckoned with. Syracuse, if they obviously do not play them during the year, somebody to look for the playoffs.
Cortland State, meanwhile, has been to the NCAAs 4 consecutive years. Of course, in their division, Hobart has won it 7 years in a row.
It's tough playing Hobart, as we say. They're a Division I school, and they play a lot of Division I teams, but they're actually in the Division III league, and they made that decision a while ago, but they have dominated, although Ohio Wesleyan and some other teams have put pressure on them.
Cortland State only has 3 home games this year. One of those will be against Hobart on April the 9th, a 2 o'clock game.
Foot save by Cortland's.
Dale, I guess I would say that never has a goalie given up 11 goals in the first half and played better than Richie Barnes has today.
It looks so good, right? Yeah.
That's right, and looks so good because he has. Down to 12 seconds to go.
I think they're even strength. Ball up in the air.
They get it up ahead to lose. His time is running out. This first half will come to a close without any further scoring.
And that's halftime.
The end of the first half of the score, Syracuse 11 and Cortland 7. It's halftime in the Carrier Dome, and the number 1 rated Syracuse Orangemen lead Cortland State by an 11-7 score. Hi again, everybody. Dave Cohn along with Dale Dreipolter. Dale, after 1 quarter, Cortland State was leading by a 6-5 score. And I think it's impressive to note that Cortland State has stayed with Syracuse throughout this game, but by the same token, Syracuse has not panicked and has been effective in their half-field game.
Absolutely right. I don't think there's anything else that really could be said. Cortland has done what they had to do, and Syracuse did what they had to do, and it's a close game. I think statistically, Syracuse has gotten off 40 shots. It's really tough. I think it shows what a good goalie Barnes is for Cortland. On the other hand, Syracuse is still getting the shots off, so I think it's going to be an interesting second half. So far, I've been very impressed.
How many shots did you say?
40.
40 shots in one half. Well, that leads us to our halftime statistics. And there it is, 40 shots compared to 10, a 4-to-1 ratio. But the difference has to be in the goal with Richie Barnes.
Barnes has done very, very well. I think his defense has played well. And as we said, I don't think Syracuse has got the transition goals that they normally get. We don't get as much fast-paced action. I think it's been a little bit slowed down, but Syracuse has done what they've had to do. They've got 11 goals. It's on a 22-goal night, I suppose. We'll see what they do in the second half.
And we'll be back with that second half right after these words. Well, we'll soon see what Cortland State has planned to get back into this game. They were leading 6-5 after 1 quarter, and now they're down 11-7 as we begin quarter number 3. Syracuse has totally dominated the faceoffs in this game, and on one faceoff, Bill Durgel took it right in, and he beat Richie Barnes. But Syracuse has really had a tough time, even though they have 11 goals and 40 shots, in putting the ball past Richie Barnes. There's Bill Durgel now, the faceoff man.
The face-off man. Kirk Pratt, a backup, a guy who has not played much so far, but very important part of any team is the face-off man, and they like Durgel and they like what he's done tonight. They obviously have to be pleased with that, and he got a goal, as you said, a fast break. We noticed a lot faster than he was last year, and, you know, he's faster and stronger. He reportedly bench presses in the area of 400 pounds, so the kind of guy that when he clamps the ball, it usually stays clamped.
Welski will take the faceoff now for Cortland State. 17-3. What an advantage on the faceoffs. Here we go. We're underway in the third quarter now, and once again it's Durgel raking it in. Along with the brothers Gate, Paul and Gary, Durgel races it in. Usually he gives up the ball and then heads off the field. But he has seen considerable playing time tonight. Now he's heading off, and Ruse will come on. Gary Gate looks back to Brad Ruse, who now runs onto the field. Greg Burns to Zilberti. Zilberti back to Burns. Paul Gate handling it. Now Ruse. Into the box. Looking for that crack in the defense. Gets the pick. That was a legal stick check. Gary Gate to Paul. Makes his move.
He gets doubled.
They double him, and he dumps it off now to Ruse. 1 minute into this third quarter. No scoring as of yet. Here's Ruse. Hasn't scored yet this year. Goal or an assist. Real control game now by Syracuse.
Yeah, they just interfered with a Syracuse player.
Zilberti getting it to Egan. And who's got it?
The defenseman made a save with his feet.
He's got the ball.
Yeah, he had it at his feet. It was 37. It was Drolik that made the save. Watch what happens. They double Syracuse. Watch, we'll see where the double comes from. There's the slide. There's the double on Egan. Now he just takes a little bit of a shot, and Drolik kept it from going in.
One of the great saves of this or any year.
They checked the stick away from more than 5 yards away from the ball, so that will cost them 30 seconds. Syracuse man up. Fan on
Burns,
the ball.
fanning on the attempted pass or shot. Cortland State trying to come out of there with the ball, not successful. Allen protects it as it rolls out of bounds.
Good heads-up play. He knew who the ball was off and screened off Cortland player, and Syracuse will now get the ball back and man up for about, I'd say, 20 more seconds.
Burns giving it up to Egan. Now to Zilberti. Quick stick. Burns missing. And who's going to be there first?
Cortland, no.
Syracuse. Gary Gate got a late start, but he did beat Tedeschi there. And the Orangemen keep it. A unique rule in lacrosse. If you're closest to the ball after a shot as it goes out of bounds, your team keeps it.
Even now, Dave. Sissio comes in.
Number 11 is Schwinn. Teams at equal strength. Means on this half of the field, not counting the goalie, there are 6 men on each side. This is Burns working against Schwinn.
Waiting for the double.
Schwinn checks it away with the stick. Burns picks it back up. He'll send it to Egan. Egan operating behind the cage. Tried to stuff it in as he came even with the crease. Cortland State unable to get possession of it here in this third quarter. Out of bounds, and Syracuse still owns it.
It was off a Bishop's stick, and he a little disappointed.
They have not been across midfield yet.
Syracuse has had the ball down there and really just dominating action so far in the third quarter. Have not come up with a goal yet, but really putting the pressure on. And Barnes, you know, it's like one of those things when you're down there in the cage and you keep thinking, if these guys have the ball that many times or for that much time and they take that many shots, when's the next one going to go in?
Here's Gary Gate. Gate's got 3 goals in the game. Dealing it back behind the cage. Quick stick. Still taken back there. Deflected on the pass back to the point to Gate. Gary makes his move. Switching to his left hand. Looks like he wants to get it away. Shovels it to Paul. He feeds the crease. Brad Ruse gets his first goal of the year. And it couldn't come in any easier fashion than that.
Really nice play, too. Everybody looking for the open man, and Ruse slides. Watch, they're on Gate. That's Tedeschi. Then he just flips the ball over, and Ruse on the jump. As they start to slide, he really does a nice job of finding the open man.
You know, there were 3 red-shirted Cortland players who could have jumped out at Ruse, but I think they were so surprised they just stood their ground.
It was almost like a touch pass. He just got it and bang right back, and Syracuse looking and playing a slowed down, not on purpose game, but a kind of a half-court game, a half-field game.
There's a kick of the ball. That's illegal. And Syracuse wins yet another faceoff.
Well, actually, you can kick the ball, but I think what he did was he kicked the stick of Durgel, so that will cost. You may kick the ball, you can't kick the stick.
That'll be 19-3 now in faceoffs.
Yeah, that'll help you control the tempo.
Cortland State has not had the ball yet in this third quarter. Owens. Keith Owens, number 1. Allen, number 15. Peter Allen. John Zoberti. Bounce pass. Burns played it with his hand, didn't he?
Yeah, you can't do that.
And so on the violation, the ball will go over to Cortland State. Let's see if they can get it across. We've played 3 minutes and 18 seconds.
Syracuse kind of running a zone, dropping back, taking their time.
Richie Barnes, we mentioned he's a transfer out of Herkimer, the goalie for Cortland State, but he is a native of Cortland. All-American junior college a year ago. Now to Stuver. Stuver's going to get some pressure from Brooke Chase.
Offside.
And as he comes across, we've got an offsides violation.
Yep, they caught 21, Walter, the man who lost the head off his stick earlier. He was offside.
So that is the first time they carried it across midfield, but not for long. Dale, it seems to me as if years ago in lacrosse there used to be many more offside violations.
I think you're right. I think people are doing things a lot more strategy involved. I'm amazed that there aren't more now, although we haven't seen it much in this game, but there's always people straddling the line, but they're well coached.
Isolation for Owens, and Barnes goes down low to make the save.
Nice follow through. Good hustle.
Is that an outgrowth of the fact that there are more experienced coaches and the coaching in general is just much better and programs and offenses are so much more disciplined?
I think the skill level, obviously, it keeps going up year after year. As high schools get better programs, you get better players, and you don't really have to worry about that as much. Even in high school, you don't see it as much as perhaps you used to.
Zoberti is doubled. He made a good pass in the crease, but Barnes is there for the save against Brooke Chase.
Chase took a shot, but good body position.
There's a blindside hit nearly coming from Burns. Barnes got rid of it. Here's one coming. And Stuver comes away with it. Now the crowd is roaring. Stuver feeding the far wing. Saracen took his eye off of it. And Cortland State has had the ball on offense for about 6 seconds in this half.
However, that was exactly how they scored their goals earlier. Saracen had a step behind the defense, and they were trying to get the ball to him. They couldn't get it, and Stuver, who's had a couple of nice assists, couldn't do it that time, and Syracuse again will have the ball.
Well, Stuver actually did it, but Saracen took his eye off of it.
Right, yep. Stuver obviously one of the people they look to make that pass, and they are going to force a long pass to Stouffer.
Stouffer now to Gate. Gate's going to draw 3 players, which means somebody ought to be open. The goalie was out. He's back in. Gate is taken down. Schwinn brought him down.
Schwinn, he didn't even make that close. That was started out to be a hold, but he ended up tripping him. I guess he figured, what the heck, the guy had the fast break. You know what happens when the guy gets a fast break. I might as well take a penalty, make him use their man up, and not give him a fast break. And Syracuse has not had, Dave, one of those, as we said, not a lot of those fast break up and down the field goals. Got 12 of them.
It was not quite a breakaway as he was taken down. Here's Gary Gate. Let's see if he goes one-on-one. Paul, Burns, Paul Gate. Defense collapsing inside.
Walter gets a stick out.
Walter and Jenkins combine to take it away. Now they feed Jenkins, but the pass is behind him, so he has trouble with it. Jenkins looking to give it up, dumps it ahead. He's got a man ahead of him, but too far, and Palem's way out of the cage. Palem gives it up, and they'll move the ball around and allow Palem time to get back in. Gary Gate, midfield, passing it way downfield into the box to Paul. He cranks and scores. 13-7 now. Paul Gate gets goal number 3 in the game.
Yep, it's a left-handed shot, and he really got some good looks from his brother. Watch the pass. There's Gary's pass. He knows I'm fast, but I can throw the ball faster than I can run that distance. And that left-handed shot that they may have to go down to the patent office and get one on it.
No mercy was the slogan on the helmet of Schwind.
Goal number 13.
Cortland has not, by the way, gotten a face-off since the first quarter.
Number 19, Paul Gate. That's his third of the game.
They're not going to get this one either.
Number 22, Gary Gate. Goal by 19, Paul Gate.
I'm sure Durgel is setting a personal record in this game that he may never come close to equaling again.
Talk about domination at the face-off. That's Durgel, at least in this game.
I don't know what Roy Simmons' message was at halftime, but if they watch the tape of this game again and keep a clock on the time of possession for Cortland State, it can't be over 10 seconds, and we're 6 minutes into this third quarter. Here's Ricky Kramer, bouncing it high and wide, the rebound, and the shot and the score. Beautifully done by Egan. And now Syracuse has doubled Cortland State at 14-7, and the Red Dragons of Jerry Casciani want time.
This is Egan's third. Nice left-hand shot. Oh, it was over. Now we get it back, and there's Egan. Takes a left-hand shot. You know what happens, Dave? One of the things is this defense has been playing so hard for Cortland. And I think it's just a question of how much longer can we weather this storm. Syracuse can shoot a lot better than we can defend here in this third quarter. We get tired.
Syracuse had 40 shots in the first half, and they've had all the shots here in the third quarter. And they have now doubled Cortland State 14-7.
And they're up to 50 shots, so they are just taking a lot of shots at Rich Barnes, and he has been very, very tough. But if you like Rich Barnes' job, let us know. I think he did a super job so far tonight. Super Sports, Cook Cablevision, 500 South Salina Street in Syracuse, 13202.
And remember, if you rush out and send the cards, I guess, before this weekend, you can beat the rise in the postage rates.
You can tell that this kid Barnes has played a lot of lacrosse, and as we said, he's out of Cortland, city of, went to Herkimer Community College, an All-American there, and back home to play, and has done just an excellent job tonight.
Jerry Casciani, the head coach you saw before, played some semi-pro football in Pennsylvania. Was a high school assistant coach at Manhasset on Long Island. That's a school that's turned out some pretty fair players.
Jimmy Brown, isn't he from Manhasset?
Jamie Malloy,
right.
Former Syracuse goalie.
Talk about small goalies. Now, there was a small goalie.
Diminutive.
Yes, right.
Well, one more face-off won by Durgel.
Ooh, he's really putting the clinic on down there.
He's like a Hoover.
Yep.
A vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner. Out of Rochester, New York, and Bill Durgel, who has worked very, very hard, one of the co-captains.
Owens, as Syracuse works it to Zolberti, who got a tape job on that leg during the last time out, losing it, and the ball will go over to Cortland State. Let's see if they can get some kind of offense mounted here in this third quarter.
Yeah, Zolberti's got the thigh taped, and now he's got an ace on the left knee. Seems like he's been around for so long because he's played since he was a freshman and played a lot and really contributed to this program.
8:20 to play in this third quarter. Stuver way down the sideline and finally handled, and they're into the box with the ball for the first time in the half, and Pela makes his second save of the game. Stepped out, went back into the crease, and we get a flag thrown and offsides signaled right at the midfield line.
30-second offsides penalty. Offsides, 30 seconds, Syracuse.
That whistle will let you know that Syracuse has been spotted offside. But Palin, nice save, got back. As you said, I thought he might have had a in and out, but not so.
Stuver now exchanging with Welski. Lose back behind the cage. Saracen, Roth, Cortland State. The man advantage now. Fanning on the shot was Welski.
That's a pass.
And the Orangemen are going to get it.
Yeah, that was I'm not sure who made the initial pass, but they were looking for Welski, and the ball went right past him, and they tried to feed the crease. So Syracuse will have to clear the ball man down. We'll see if they double the ball or let the ball go. And
Owens makes the move on the sideline. Owens running away from Stuver. Stuver's trying to stick check him from behind.
There we go.
Tedeschi tried it, and they knocked the ball away. They're successful. They did that quite often in the first half. Now Cortland State loses the ball at midfield. There's Egan to scoop it up. Egan feeding it to Zilberti. Cross wing to Gate. One-on-one. It's in there. Gary Gate gets his 4th goal of the game. He's averaging better than 5 per contest.
Zilberti does a nice job of passing the ball. He looks, sees him, knows where he's going to be. Watch the fake there by Gate. What a nice job. These guys are for real. And again, let's give Zilberti credit. He made a super pass. Gate was by himself. And of course, Barnes, the last man, didn't have much help.
Syracuse's goal by number 22, Gary Gate. That's his 4th of the game assist.
And Syracuse now out to an 8-goal lead.
The assist to Zilberti. The goal to number 22, Gary Gate.
See, I don't think they may have to reface this. No.
Gate saved it and got control of it, but he stepped out of bounds.
Push. That will be Syracuse ball, I believe. Let's see. Nope. So Syracuse will get the ball as Gary Gate pushed just as they neared the sideline.
We should mention that one other local player, Scott Holliva, out of Liverpool High School, has not seen any action. He's ill. They thought he may have had a strep throat. They're not sure exactly what he has, but kind of a shame to come back to the Dome and not get a chance to play in your hometown. Scott Holliva, sophomore, out of Liverpool. Here's another move being made and a score. And it's Brad Ruse who gets his 2nd goal of this 3rd quarter. He had been scoreless up until this quarter, and he now has 2 goals on the year.
Ruse just decided, look, I'm going to see what these guys do, and if they go with me, watch what Ruse does. It's kind of interesting. He goes, all right, he stops. I think I beat the double team. I got it. Then he takes a high shot, and I think Richie Barnes is tired. I think he's seen a lot of those crazy bouncing white balls, and 18-7, he's still 16-7. Check that, we got for score, but face-off department 22-3. Make it 23-3 if they run this one down.
And they do. Paul Gate whipping it crossfield to Gary. Can you imagine being down now 16-7 and having to look at these 2 guys? Their goal is heading toward the sideline. Gate scores. That's number 5 for Gary Gate.
He keeps up his pace. You know what's amazing is these guys, the brother gets the pass. Watch, you know how quickly they get the ball, and then, well, you didn't see the pass there, you see the shot, but it is so unbelievable how they seem to be able to look for each other, and the ball just goes. Now, Gary Gate had a whole lot of running area. There was nobody picked him up, and that's really tough, but there's a nice stat for you.
21 goals now in the year, and this is only his 4th game. There's Durgel sweeping up another face-off. I called him a Hoover earlier. Maybe he's an Electrolux. He tried to get the return feed inside, and there's a save by Barnes. Here's Gary Gate. Gary Gate inside. He scores again. Unbelievable. That time he did it on hustle and determination. 6 goals in the game. Here's the save.
There's the save. Ball rebound out. Gate takes it.
Timeout.
Score.
Syracuse leading 8.
Well, it is now 18-7, and Cortland State takes time. We will be right back after this. As we come back, another look at Gary Gate's last goal.
There's the save by Barnes. Ball's down. Gate picks it up. Walter on him. That ball had eyes. I swear it did. Went around.
18-7 is the score. Cortland State has not scored in this quarter.
Syracuse last 10 goals, I believe we said.
We're going to have to ask Roy Simmons just what he did say in the locker room at halftime. Or maybe it was John Desko who said something.
I bet you he didn't really say a whole lot other than you guys, you know, they're taking you out of your game. And there's John Desko. He's assistant coach, does a lot of work there also with Coach Simmons. They have been together for a long time. And they had Tim Nelson for a long time as a player and a coach. We got to talk to Coach Simmons about him before the game, doing a great job down at Carolina now.
18-7 is the score. Dave Cohn along with Dale Drypulcher here in the third quarter. Some new names and faces on Scaramuzzino for the first time as Zilberti takes the shot, and he was dumped to the turf.
You know, that kid takes, I mean, listen, about 158 pounds. Look at him. He has just taken a beating, and he does so every game. He very seldom complains, but boy, I think they got him now in the knee. He's got a problem. We'll have to watch. There's the move. There's the hit. And boy, he's a valuable player.
He's walking it off. He's limping it off. And I would think with the score 18-7 in favor of Syracuse, his night is through.
They got a game Saturday with Army, so that's something, of course, with those assists. They want to make sure that they've got him. They want to be at full strength. They do use a lot of attackmen, but John Zilberti plays all over the field, 60 minutes, offense, defense. Looks like he might have hurt the hamstring or might only be a bruise.
He's walking a little bit better now, but of course he is being assisted slightly. But he's kind of the point man for this team. And Syracuse fans know what happened when Sherman Douglas was about 50%. And if Zilberti is injured, well.
His job is to assist and score. He does both well. I think he's really been looking and doing a good job of getting the assists this year. You can see tonight, I believe, 4 assists. So John Zilberti, you're going to get a rest. Well deserved.
Roy Simmons quite concerned walking over on the sideline. Keith Owens now number 1 for Syracuse. Orangemen leading at 18-7, down to 5 minutes in the third quarter. Their high goal scoring this year has been 20 in the last game against Adelphi. Earl Hall took a rip at number 19, but it rolls out of bounds and the Orangemen will keep it. Kind of a lull now in terms of intensity in this game.
Well, obviously, Cortland is going to be hard-pressed to kind of pick it up down by 11 goals. They have played very well. Syracuse has played very well after perhaps a little bit of a shaky beginning.
Owens shakes free, and they're still peppering shots at Richie Barnes. How many are we up to now in the game?
Shots up to 59.
Up top to Earl Hall.
Cortland has 12 shots.
Earl Hall makes the move. He shoots, and there's another save, and ball ricocheting out of bounds. Brooke Chase is there. Zilberti has the wrap off.
That appeared to me to be a hamstring muscle. Of course, it's easy for me to make a diagnosis from up here.
Why not, Doc?
That's right. Why not?
Here's Owens going low and scoring.
Pretty, I think. They're going to say it was a shot. No goal. They're wiping that one out. Oh.
Well, they'll wipe it out for some reason. Owens wanted that goal.
I don't know. It's a pretty goal anyway, even if it doesn't count. Watch how low it goes. Watch. Right along the carpet. Hard to pick up. They might have called a slash on a Syracuse player previous to that, and that'll negate it.
1 minute slashing penalty.
Yes, it is a slash. 19-7 is the score, or it's 18-7 now as they take the 19 off the board. Put the ball in the stick of Stuver.
Syracuse man down once again.
Cortland State has not scored in this third quarter. Stuver has it.
Cortland's had 3 man-up opportunities.
Joe Roth. They work it to Stuver. He was in position to get the ball, but he went in too far. Luz has to go back and play it. Luz dribbling it ahead to himself. McCabe is there, the defenseman. McCabe with Stouffer sends it back to Palin. McNamara calling for it to the near side, coming into your picture now in the lower left-hand corner. Instead, he goes to Stouffer.
Matt Palin has not really been forced to make many saves, obviously, especially in this third quarter, and they're going to go after Matt. They're going to force him to make that pass.
He'll draw the double team and try to get the ball away, and he does up the sideline.
Good luck.
Now let's see if Syracuse can transition. Dumpson was streaking down the wing. They couldn't get the ball to him.
Klodzen took it away.
Now to Stuver. He'll go by the defense and give it up. Roth fires, saved by Palin. Matt has 2 saves in the third quarter, more than he had, I believe, in the entire first half. Cortland State warming up another goalie or 2 on the sideline.
Yeah, because Barnes going to see lacrosse balls in his sleep.
Ray Carnicelli, a sophomore out of Auburn. Hopefully we'll get to see some action. Playing catch with Chris Garrity. He may play the entire fourth quarter the way things are going.
Well, I'm sure they want to make sure that at 18-7 they give Barnes a rest, because obviously he is going to be a factor in the rest of their season at Division III.
Ricky Kramer running it across. You've got the #1 team in Division I, Syracuse, against Division III, Cortland State. Dumpson spinning free for the hard shot. Laid off the chest of the goalie that time. Another save for Barnes. They took it away from Jenkins. Here's Dumpson for another attempt. Tried a little change of pace bouncer. Barnes saved that one. Oh! Kramer got underneath him, timed it perfectly, and tried to dump him.
See if we can get a look at that. There's the outlet pass. It's what you used to call a buddy pass, which means it's kind of a long, loping pass, and while you're waiting to get underneath it, some defenseman is down drawing circles on your jersey, take a shot at you. But Kramer will take a rest for a minute on a trip.
That was not a trip. That was a dump. He upended him.
Boy, those are the ones when your brain says to you, you extend your body up to get the ball, and your brain says, don't do this.
Sissio is on, number 13. He's trying to work off a pick and get the pass in the slot. They can't spot him. Up top to lose, in
nice
close,
move.
And a score by Saracen. Saracen gets his second man-up goal of the game. And that is the first goal in this half for Cortland State. It's now 18-8.
Saracen, watch, there's the pass, and they don't get a slide. They get a nice movement, and number 34, Welski, nice job of screening so Saracen could get the second goal. Both of them man up and an assist on the evening.
Number 5.
They've been outscored 10-1 in this third quarter.
To number 24, Michael Luz. The assist.
So exactly 2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Number 5, Fred Saracen. And with exactly 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter,
Saracen has his second goal of the game.
And Cortland 8.
2 goals and assist for Saracen. They got Pratt in, I believe, facing off for Syracuse, and the game remains the same. Kirk Pratt up with a face-off out of JD.
Cortland State got 6 goals in the first quarter, 1 in the second and 1 in the third.
First midfield still out, playing. Different attack down there. Well, actually, Burns still in. Egan.
Burns tried to feed it to one of the Gates, who was dumped from behind after he missed the pass. That's going to go against Jenkins, number 10.
No possession push. So
Ryan, a senior out of Great Neck. Final minute and a half of this third quarter. It's been an entirely different second half than it was from the first. It was a game in the first half. Being dumped is Ruse. There's a couple of goals here in the third quarter. Syracuse will keep it.
Cortland's philosophy hasn't changed much. If the guy gets the ball, let's collapse on him and get some people on him. Hopefully that will negate things, but Syracuse able to illegal pick.
Burns had the ball, and Syracuse will give it up.
They called chase for a moving pick, a violation. So it will be Cortland ball. And we will, I'm sure, after this quarter, see a new goalie for Cortland State.
All the scoring, all the face-offs. This is going to be one of the longer lacrosse games of the year. It's closing in on 2 hours right at this moment. And we still have the entire fourth quarter yet to play. New names in the game for Cortland State. Travis Glasper, junior out of Rochester. Ron DeQuoit High School. There's Joe Roth. Ron Agostino is in. 40 seconds to go in this third quarter. Intended for Saracen. McCabe and McNamara break it up. It goes back to Roth. He gives it up, and it's heading toward the penalty area. Saved there by Burns. He looked for a man streaking downfield. Chase.
Whoa.
Now he finds Schluter, and here's an open wing coming in for the score is Jim Egan. Egan gets another goal. For Egan, his fourth goal of the game.
Egan just on a fast break, got the ball.
Goal by number 9, Jim Egan. Assist number 4,
And
Bill Schluter.
they're going to give the assist to Schluter,
Goal by
the
number
defenseman.
9, Jim Egan. Assist to number 4.
Egan having quite a night.
It was all started by an errant pass that Burns scooped up near midfield.
Yep.
Egan, prior to this game, had never scored more than one goal in a game. He's got 4 tonight. Time remaining in the third quarter. It's now 19-8. Cortland State just might win this face, and they do. So the Red Dragons take the face-off. Matt Pierce, a freshman from Huntington, won it. And that's the end of the third quarter.
And that's the end of the third period. Syracuse
With a score, Syracuse 19 and Cortland State 8. Getting set now to begin the fourth quarter. And Cortland State will indeed have a new man in the nets. Ray Carnicelli sprinting down to the goal to our left. Your left as you watch it on Super Sports. Dave Cohn along with Dale Drypulcher. There is Carnicelli, who will not exactly be baptism under fire, with Syracuse leading at 19-8 in the fourth quarter and wholesale substitutions.
Well, the pressure's off anyway. But, of course, anytime you get in the game, you want to do your best, look good, try to impress people.
Carnicelli 5'9", a 150-pounder. Doesn't exactly fill up that cage. Now the faceoff is won by Kirk Pratt, seeing limited action early this year.
He transferred from Clarkson, spent a year up there and transferred down to Syracuse.
O'Tailing behind the cage now to Earl Hall. Syracuse has used numerous players right from the start. Peter Allen going right. Got it. First shot on Carnicelli, and he beats him with a bouncer. And the Orange have now equal their high for the year offensively with their 20th goal.
You know, the only thing you can hope to do in this game as Cortland, after we take a look at this goal, just to sweep, and he just takes a one-hopper past the new goalie. But the only thing Cortland can hope to do is get Syracuse out of their game, get them thinking a little bit, and you can see they did it in the first quarter. Second quarter, they were still kind of in it, but obviously the momentum changed drastically near the end of the second and into the third.
Off the face-off, Owens overruns it. Owens gets a second chance, and a whistle stops the play.
Push.
14 and a half minutes to go, and I guess the officials are intent on calling every little push in a rather one-sided game that is stretching on now.
They check those out too. You know, the officials take tapes and check the calls, so this game will continue for the next 14 minutes and 20 seconds.
This could approach a 3-hour affair. There's Chase feeding the crease, mishandled. Thought he had the ball in the stick, did Tom Sipple out of Janesville DeWitt. There's another score. Peter Allen again. 21-8. Barnes knows one thing, he doesn't want to come back in.
Yeah, Allen just, it's tough. You know, you're not in the flow of the game. You have to come in, the goalie has to come in. Guys from Syracuse are getting in and saying, you know, I'm due for some goals. And you can't blame them. Everybody's going to take their shots. Nobody's going to say, let's take it easy. And Cortland, on the other hand, is not going to say, you know, take it easy on us. So 14:08 left. It's really kind of the time when, Dave, you always say lacrosse games can be a bit too long.
A game like this would be a good candidate for 10-minute quarters. We've got 14 to go in this fourth one, and it's 21-8. Remember, too, games played in the Dome tend to be much longer than outdoor games because of the fact that the ball rolls out of bounds a lot and stops the clock. It'd be even worse if this was a crown field. It is perfectly flat.
Well, one thing as opposed to being outdoors is the balls stay in, though, too. I've seen outdoor games where the balls are rolled down a hill on some fields. It takes a while to get them back.
There's a save inside and a rebound. Taken down by Klodzen. Up he goes. Kramer timed it perfectly on the interception. Kramer feeding Hoteling. Shot is wide, and hustling there is Carnicelli.
Good hustle by Carnicelli.
Hoteling, Patain, and Persing come on for Syracuse. Big stick middies. Carnicelli gets the ball. Clock is stopped with 13:18 to go.
Bring the ball up, looking for open man. Sir, kind of crowded at the midfield. Let's see how they.
Carnicelli's way out. Look at that total. You may never see that again. Stuver feeding in close, and Palin saves. And gathers it and loses it. Holbrook has it.
That was Sissio on the shot. He's got a couple of goals, and he took a point blank when Matt Palin up with a save.
I don't know what they told Matt at halftime, but he's been a different goalie in the second half.
That's Cortland's 15th shot on goal.
Now here come the Orangemen. Upfield again. Earl Hall. He had a goal early in this game. Running by the defense. Looking to give it up. Brooke Chase got the pipe. A rebound to the far side and out, but the Orange will keep it. Rhett Spanky Jefferson into the nets for Syracuse. And Palin, having made a couple of good saves now, departs on a high note.
Syracuse will have a new goaltender, number 27, Brett Jefferson, replacing number 10, Matt Palin.
So Matt was a bit shaky in the first half, but he answered everything thrown at him, save one in this second half, and there is another goal by Syracuse. 22-8. Keith Owens gets the goal.
Just a sweep. Left-handed shot. Backside of the goalie. The offside, actually.
For number 1.
Away from the stick.
Keith Owens.
Owens had a goal taken away earlier in this game.
And it's Syracuse 22, Cortland 8.
The Orangemen now are not trying to run up the score.
No, it would serve no purpose.
But they win yet another faceoff, and here they come in on net.
Poor pass.
Andy Smith, a junior from Phoenix, Maryland, out of Boys Latin High School, number 12.
Intended for Sipple. Ball went out of bounds, so Syracuse will clear. There's Matt Palin. Sophomore out of Jamesville DeWitt. Lots of players from Jamesville DeWitt. 6 or 7, I believe, on the roster this year. There's a pass long out of bounds, and Syracuse will get an opportunity to clear. 11:51 left.
I'm scanning through the record book, Dale, looking for some of the highest goal scoring outputs by Syracuse as a team. They had 27 against Pennsylvania back in 1985. Right now at 22, and we've got nearly 12 minutes left to play.
I think we did that game when they had 27. That was a long one, too. Of course, the faceoffs, that's what can, after every goal. Syracuse clear it.
Now they get it to Holbrook. Holbrook has about 40 yards of open field. He shoots, and Carnicelli stops it. Sipple tried to golf it in. He's dumped to the turf. Hoteling is there, but not in time. Carnicelli beats him to it.
Smart dumped Sipple and helped him up, so sportsmanship still abounding in the fourth quarter. 11:32 left. Carnicelli up to defenseman.
And he gets the return. They'll take a jump at him. Cortland State looking to move it across. They overshoot Piers, and Syracuse sticks it ahead. Schluter, number 4, has it. Schluter trying to hit Chase. It's going to roll into the Syracuse bench and out of bounds, and the ball will go over now to Cortland State. 11:10 to go.
There's the ball. It takes weird hops, too, when you see that. It'll bounce twice and then in a short hop and then take a long one. It's a
Ron Agostino, number 9 for Cortland State, junior from Lynbrook on Long Island. They list him as only 130 pounds. Carnicelli, a real heavyweight at 140. The goalie is way up to midfield.
Got to see Roth. I was down in the field with him. He's a little guy. Got a couple of goals tonight. Syracuse intercepts, looking to clear.
And Syracuse transitioning well now. Patain with a big stick. Gives it up. In the middle, here's a shot coming and a score. From outside, Rob Persing. He'll do a little victory dance after getting the goal. Persing gets the goal. That's his first of the year.
He paid the price. He took a shot, but he'll pay it for getting the name in the record book. So Rob Persing, the sophomore.
First of the year and first of the career. And Chris Garrity now will be coming into play goal.
Number 34, assist to number 24, David Patain. The assist to David
Chris
Patain,
Garrity will get the shot in the
goal
nets.
by number 34, Rob Persing.
He's a freshman out of East Northport, Long Island, St. Anthony's High School. 5'10", 170 pounds. 23-8.
Another face-off.
And we still have 10 and a half minutes to go. I don't want to belabor that point, but it isn't moving too quickly.
Ball behind, new people in again.
Matt Moore is in the game now, number 33. Also in there for Syracuse, Dennis Simmons, number 40. He's got the ball. Simmons working on Stuver, who goes down. Simmons cranks. There's a save. May have been made by Tedeschi, the defenseman.
Tedeschi obviously was giving him a hand in there.
Smart has it now. Steve Smart, junior from Jordan Elbridge. He dumps it to Luz, Mike Luz. Waits for Smart to go onside, and they release Stuver across. Stuver makes the move. Stuver off the pick. He shoots, score, beating Jefferson High. That was one of those plays, Dale, where Stuver was going to say, I can play with you guys, and I'm going to take the shot.
That's his second goal. He's got at least a couple of assists. So Stuver has had a good game tonight for Cortland. He just muscles past, goes high on Jefferson.
33, Mark Stuver.
Stuver has played well, as we said. There's a 4 assists. I knew he had a couple. I was just double checking. 4 assists now for Stuver. He really helped in those early goals, getting Cortland off to that fine start in the first quarter.
From the Rochester area out of Fairport, Mark Stuver, 23-9, only the second goal of the second half. Here's Welski. He feeds it, but it's behind the crease. Sissio and Saracen in pursuit. It's going to roll out of bounds. 9:11 to play. Scaramuzino, Schluter, and Persing come on. 23. 34 and 34 by the numbers. Eric Holbrook on as well for Syracuse. Stuver has it up top, exchanging with Welski. Welski moves on. Persing changes directions. Shot is high, rolling out of bounds and kept by Cortland State.
Cortland down in the goal area. Moving with the ball.
Sissio.
Ball out now, almost the midfield. There it is.
Stuver's may carry it in. He gives it up last second. Welski with a goal. Beautiful play again. Stuver sets it up. And he is far and away the top player for the Cortland State Red Dragons. He's had a fine game.
You know what happened? They got double team here, and so he says somebody's got to be open. He makes the nice pass, and Welski
Another Cortland goal by number 34.
And with that goal, Cortland State into double figures.
33, Mark Stuver. Goal
that equals
34.
Cortland State's highest offensive output of the year with their 10th goal. They lost to Cornell 11-5, lost to Roanoke 7-6, and then beat Princeton 10-4.
You know, when Cortland plays your typical Division III school, you might have some good matchups individually. In other words, you've got some talent that you can compare to some of the guys. But what happens is the game wears on and your guys wear down, and the Division I guys have more legs. But when Cortland gets into their own division and plays teams, I think they're going to do very well, and they have started out doing pretty well, playing Roanoke, a good Division III team, beating Princeton, and giving Cornell a pretty decent fight, another Division I team.
Tough thing for Cortland State is they only have 3 home games. They don't play their first one until they meet Hobart.
That's tough. April
9th, then Ohio Wesleyan, the runner-up in Division III. And their last home game, last game of the year, is RIT. It's 23-10. And there are 8 minutes left. Rodney Dumpson outside. Neil Nault, one of the co-captains on now, number 8. Neil's playing time has decreased with the years.
Real credit, though, the fact that he is one of the co-captains along with Durgel. Shot.
It's in there. It's in the goal. It's a goal for Syracuse. Jason Picorni, I believe, took the shot, and he does get the goal. Jason Picorni. So with 7:47 to go, Syracuse leading now 24-10. We'll get another look at the goal. Picorni played loosely by Steve Smart, and he beats the goalie Garrity.
Goal by Jason Picorni, number 25, unassisted.
Picorni getting the goal. It's now 24-10. Ball rolling down toward the box, and a whistle will stop play, illegal procedure, and they'll give the ball back to Syracuse. Matt Moore comes on again, number 33. We're going to check and see for Syracuse if number 30, Jim Goodwin, is into the game. Interesting story connected with Goodwin. Syracuse brings it across. With the ball there, number 17, Jim Poley. Down along the corner, played there by the Orangemen with 7:15 to go. Outside, the move being made by Moore, in close. No shot there, feeding up top, and it's played on one bounce by Dennis Simmons. Now Poley again. Clock now under 7 minutes in a 24-10 game.
Yeah.
Syracuse maybe closest to it? No. Yes. And they will keep possession.
6:46, as you said. This game winding right down. Ball on top.
Up top is Moore, number 33, Matt Moore. He is a freshman out of Fayetteville Manlius. Six and a half minutes to go in this one. Syracuse will have to play Army in a couple of days. This is a pretty good shot by Poli, bouncing high over the top.
Check number 28 for you in a second, as Syracuse has put just about everybody in the game.
Maybe a new number for a player because it's not listed on our roster. They've used them all. Here's Moore. He's big and strong. Makes the move, and his shot is just wide. Closest to it was Nick Boynton, and so the Orangemen retain possession once again.
Everybody anxious to get a shot. There's Coach Simmons.
Boynton with a nice spin move, and he scores. Boy, he really earned that one. Beautiful spin move by Boynton, and Syracuse will go to a third goalie in this game. Lee Hine will come in the other way as Chris Garrity has just been beaten in the nets for Cortland State. It is 25-10. 25-10. I don't know if that's the score or the time on the clock because this game started at 7 o'clock, and in a few minutes it will be 25-10.
That's right.
6:02 remaining. The Orangemen will be 4-0.
The Syracuse goal by
We're told that Mark Knott, K-N-O-T-T, is wearing number 28. Mark Knott.
Unassisted.
He's a freshman out of Lutherville, Maryland, Loyola High School. Rodney Dumpson. He's seen a lot of playing time, and he was in early in this game, too.
Moving number of new people on. Syracuse gets
Paul Cannon into the game, number 20. Dumpson was calling for it. He wanted it. I think he'd like to get into the score column today as well. Who wouldn't? Dumpson now makes the move, and yet another. They defensed him well initially, but here he comes, and his shot is bouncing over everything. But the Orangemen will keep it. It's almost automatic now. Portland State sending a new player into the game as well. That's Haas, David Haas, 6'3", 200-pound sophomore.
Out of Port Washington and Long Island.
So he'll be in
now
for the majority of the final 5 minutes.
Lee Hine.
Each team has used 3 goalies.
Lee Hine.
Now Paul Cannon, number 20. Checked by Haas. Stuver, number 33. Picked up again by Cannon. He feeds to the far wing. Beautiful pass inside. Mishandled, though, and Knott plays it behind the cage. Up top, Dumpson was calling for it. The pass is by him. It's out of bounds. Clock stops at 4:32 to go. More new faces come on for the Orangemen. Ralph Rossi, a junior out of Wilton, Connecticut.
Cortland's DeLaura in. There's Kevin Donahue, one of the assistant coaches. West Genesee program up here working with the Orangemen. Works also with the faceoff men. Obviously has done an excellent job tonight as faceoffs are.
Klodzen sneaking into the game. Now they find him. He's all alone. He's coming in. Shooting on Hine, and it's deflected wide.
Checking on faceoffs, 33 for Syracuse tonight, 6 for Cortland. So Donahue and Durgel and Kurt Pratt working hard, 75-20. Tough night.
Have you ever seen 75 shots in the game?
Never. I've never seen a game last quite this long and start out so even for the first quarter.
Again, if you've just joined us, sorry you weren't here in the first half. It was 6-5 Cortland State at the end of one quarter, 8-6 Syracuse at the half. And it has not been a game at all in the second half.
That third quarter, we said we don't keep time of possession, Dave, but Syracuse had it for most of the third quarter.
Well, we estimated For the first 6 minutes of the quarter, Cortland State had it on offense for about 6 seconds. Holbrook loses it. We're down to 4 minutes to go. Most of the crowd has stayed. And now we get a little extracurricular activity here, as Matt Chappell went after Eric Holbrook, and Rich Keegan's going to escort his player off the field quickly.
That started a little earlier than that.
Holbrook is down and hurting. Don't know exactly what it was. But with 3:55 to go, we've got a timeout. Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty has been assessed. .355 remaining. Don't forget, Syracuse will face Army. And we'll have that game for you in many of these same stations from Super Sports. Holbrook getting medical attention now. Shaken up. And now being escorted off the field. And you can bet his night is through as well. Our score is 25-10. Yes, Gary Gate did hit his per game average of 5 goals. In fact, he had 6. Let's go back and see what the action was like. Chappell buried Holbrook, and Holbrook put some clamps around Chappell, and that drew the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Then he paid the price as well. Now the man-up situation for Cortland State. Sissio, Stuver, back behind to Roth, in close. Welski got the pipe. Rebound out to Saracine. Fred Saracine, he's had a couple of goals. Stuver has had himself a game. Stuver feeding it to Sissio, a miss on the far side. And Cortland State with 3:18 to go. They'll get it back. Eric Holbrook being attended to. He's sophomore out of West Genesee. Doesn't look like he's feeling too well right now. Sissio to Welski. Welski to Stuver. He gets it back to Sissio. Welski switches to the left hand but loses the ball, and Schluter comes out of there. Schluter running it and passing it up behind the cage. Passing it up top. There's a shot and a save by Garrity. And the rebound, Persing on the far side to Scaramazzino. Coming on now is Chris Robinson out of Greenwich, Connecticut for Syracuse. He's a freshman. And we get a legal procedure on the substitution with 2.5 minutes to go. Technical will cost Syracuse possession. These officials will not allow anything to go by undetected.
30-second
Too many men on the field. And the Gates come on now with 2:30 to go. Paul and Gary Gate.
Add to that a 60-second penalty against Cortland for unsportsmanlike conduct.
You may have heard that in the background. An unsportsmanlike conduct call against Cortland. So the officials don't want this one to get away from them. The game is, of course, not in doubt. 2.5 minutes to go. And the officials are conferring about just how the penalties and infractions will be handled. If they keep this up, there may be nobody here for the final horn. Two and a half minutes remaining. It is 25-10 on the scoreboard. In one of the longest lacrosse games in recent memory. Syracuse has had close to 80 shots in the game. Barnes with Alt. Alt again. Alt to Allen for the quick turnaround, deflected, and the Orangemen retain possession. The Gate brothers are on. Alt up top to Barnes. Now to Paul Gate. He fakes. He passes in close. And just like that, Gary Gates gets goal number 7. 7th goal of the game, and that makes it 26-10. With that, Gary Gates sets a new personal record. His previous high had been 6 in the last game against Adelphi and against Navy in the NCAA tournament.
22, Gary Gate.
And Gate
An assist to number
will stay
19,
on. Paul Gate
Paul
gets an
Gate.
assist.
Goal by 22, Gary Gate. That's his
7 goals tonight
Assist to
by
number 19,
Gary Gate.
Paul Gate.
Down to 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Mark Knott on the face-off, giving it up. Syracuse gets a shot, a rebound, and another shot. And it looks like Cortland State is going to get the ball this time. They will. With a minute 49 to go, Tedeschi has had himself a long, long night. Fayetteville Manlius product. The record for goals in a game, 9 by Greg Tarbell against Bucknell in 1982. Tom Corey, Ralph Spinola, Larry Storier each had 8. And tonight, Gary Gate has joined the list that includes Tim O'Hara, Tom Abbott, John Engelken, Ron Hill, and Oliver Hill, all of whom had 7. This is Mark Stuver, young man who can definitely play at Division I in Lacrosse. With a minute and 37 seconds to go. Jeff Iannello, freshman on in defense out of Timonium, Maryland, number 39. Number 35 is Bob Smith, a junior from Melees, played at CBA. Welski feeding to the far side, and Stuver is stopped by Lee Hine. That may be the save of the game. Now Persing, legging it upfield. He's got about 40 yards of clear sailing if he wants to keep going. He looked back to make sure his team was onside. Now they're not. The late call against Cortland State. They're offsides. They feed the crease, and now the whistle. Cortland State offsides. 55 seconds to go, 26-10. In case you're wondering, Dale Drypolcher, an expectant father attending to family obligations. Second half was tense for Dale. 26-10 with 50 seconds to go, and the clock is moving. In close, and a save made by Garrity. Ball ricochets out to midfield. 38 seconds to go. Clock is on the field with 30 seconds remaining. It's 26-10 on the scoreboard, and on my watch, it's 28-10. And the ball goes out of bounds. We just might end this game with the same time on the clock as on the scoreboard. 24 seconds remaining. I think I'll take poetic license even if it doesn't. Now 20 seconds to go. 7 goals in the game by Gary Gate. And the clock stops one more time. Syracuse and Army. And the next game, after Army, Syracuse will host Brown. Then they'll play at Hofstra, and they'll come back for the Hobart game on April the 16th, same day as the spring football game. A doubleheader. And the few fans remaining are counting it down.
Final final score.
It is over.
Cortland 10,
Syracuse has defeated Cortland State 26-10.
Don't forget game time Saturday night against the United
Led by
States.
Gary Gates, Syracuse wins it 26-10 to go 4-0 on the year and do absolutely nothing to hurt their number one ranking. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Super Sports and Cook Cablevision of Syracuse.